The entire diner fell silent as the sheriff slammed a pair of handcuffs onto the table, grabbed the single father by the wrist, and accused him of using a stolen credit card. Coffee spilled across the floor. Customers reached for their phones, eager to record another public humiliation. The little boy sitting across from the man burst into tears, begging the sheriff not to take his father away. The single dad never raised his voice. He calmly asked the frightened child to finish his pancakes while everything would be sorted out. 20 minutes later, a convoy of unmarked government vehicles surrounded the diner, and the sheriff discovered he had just handcuffed the director of the FBI during a confidential operation. If you believe kindness is stronger than authority, humility matters more than titles, and everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel for more emotional stories that remind us what truly matters. 46-year-old Grant Mercer had spent nearly 3 decades serving his country. Long before becoming director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, he had worked every level of law enforcement, believing that leadership began with listening rather than commanding. His reputation for honesty, discipline, and compassion earned respect throughout the nation, yet almost nobody recognized him outside official circles because he intentionally avoided publicity. Behind the badge was a devoted father. 5 years earlier, Grant had lost his wife, Caroline, after a sudden illness. Since then, every free morning belonged to his 9-year-old son, Owen. Despite an overwhelming schedule, Grant never missed their Saturday breakfast tradition. No bodyguards. No motorcade. No reserved tables. Just father and son sharing pancakes in ordinary restaurants whenever possible. That particular Saturday, Grant had quietly traveled to a small rural county where federal investigators were assisting local authorities with a confidential financial crime investigation. To protect the operation, he dressed like any ordinary traveler and avoided drawing attention. After finishing an early planning meeting, he picked up Owen from a nearby youth science camp. The boy excitedly suggested breakfast before driving home. Grant happily agreed. They stopped at a family-owned diner known for homemade biscuits and fresh pancakes. The waitress greeted them warmly. Owen ordered chocolate chip pancakes. Grant ordered coffee and eggs. For nearly half an hour, they laughed together while discussing Owen's dream of becoming an engineer someday. Across the room sat Sheriff Bradley Cole. Sheriff Cole had built a reputation for being tough, but years of praise had slowly transformed confidence into arrogance. He believed quick judgments demonstrated strength. Unfortunately, he often acted before gathering complete facts. That morning, a local bank had mistakenly reported suspicious activity involving a corporate payment card used by federal investigators working undercover. Dispatch circulated incomplete information describing a middle-aged man using the card at nearby businesses. When Sheriff Cole entered the diner, he noticed Grant paying the bill with that very card. Without confirming additional details or speaking privately, the sheriff marched directly toward the table. Customers immediately turned to watch. In a loud voice, Sheriff Cole accused Grant of financial fraud. Grant calmly explained that there must be a misunderstanding and politely offered identification. The sheriff refused to look. Believing public authority mattered more than careful procedure, he grabbed Grant's wrist and fastened handcuffs around it. The sudden movement frightened Owen. The little boy jumped from his chair, tears streaming down his face as he pleaded with the sheriff not to take his father away. Grant looked gently toward his son. He quietly reassured Owen that the truth always has a way of finding its place. He asked him to stay seated, finish breakfast, and remember everything they had talked about regarding courage. Those calm words puzzled everyone in the diner. Most people expected anger. Grant showed only patience. Within minutes, several unmarked government vehicles stopped outside. Men and women wearing professional attire entered the diner carrying identification folders. One senior federal supervisor approached the sheriff and quietly introduced himself. The color immediately drained from Sheriff Cole's face. The man explained that Grant Mercer was the director of the FBI and had been overseeing a confidential investigation requested by multiple federal agencies. The payment card belonged to the operation. Its activity had already been verified hours earlier. The misunderstanding occurred because outdated information reached local dispatch before federal records updated. Silence filled the diner. Customers slowly lowered their phones. The sheriff's hands began trembling as he removed the handcuffs. He apologized repeatedly. Grant accepted the apology with remarkable calm. But before leaving, he gently asked Sheriff Cole one important question. What if I had simply been an ordinary single father? The question hung heavily in the room. Grant explained that respect should never depend upon someone's job title, wealth, or position. Every citizen deserved fairness, patience, and the opportunity to be heard before being judged. The word struck Sheriff Cole more deeply than any public embarrassment ever could. Several weeks later, Sheriff Cole requested additional leadership and procedural training for every deputy in his department. Public arrests for nonviolent misunderstandings were replaced with careful verification whenever possible. Communication with neighboring agencies improved dramatically. Complaints from residents steadily declined. Instead of hiding the incident, the sheriff openly used it as a lesson for new officers. He admitted that authority without humility could easily become injustice. Grant quietly admired those changes. He never spoke publicly about the incident. He believed genuine growth mattered more than punishment. Months later, Owen received an unexpected letter from Sheriff Cole. Inside was a handwritten apology addressed directly to the young boy. The sheriff admitted he had frightened him and promised he would spend the rest of his career ensuring children never witnessed unnecessary humiliation again. Owen smiled after reading it. He told his father everyone deserved a chance to become better. Grant nodded proudly. Years passed. Sheriff Cole retired with a reputation very different from the one he once held. He became known as a thoughtful leader who insisted every investigation begin with respect instead of assumptions. At his retirement ceremony, he surprised everyone by inviting Grant to speak. Grant accepted. He reminded the audience that mistakes do not define a person's future. The willingness to learn from them does. The room erupted into applause. Before this story comes to an end, we'd love to hear from you. Do you believe people should always be treated with dignity before conclusions are made? Please leave a meaningful comment below because your experience may encourage someone else to choose fairness over assumptions. As another warm afternoon sunlight stretched across the small town years later, Owen watched families laughing outside the same diner where one difficult morning had changed so many lives. What began as an embarrassing misunderstanding became a powerful reminder that true leadership isn't measured by authority or rank. It is measured by humility, patience, and the courage to admit when we are wrong. Grant never needed his title to earn respect because his greatest strength had always been the way he treated others long before they knew who he was. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember, every person you meet deserves respect before judgment, because the true measure of character is how we treat people when we believe they have nothing to offer us.